Hello everyone, JDev creator of the JDev Entertainment Network has returned once again to give you precisely what you want, which of course would be more of me because I'm in such high demand and quite frankly all you're going to need, especially with the coronavirus pandemic. You guys already know what the video is about. You see it in the description. Within the last couple hours, Dana White has announced that UFC 249, which was supposed to take place next Saturday night, has been postponed due to the uncertainty of what's going on with the world right now. Bums me out. I mean, Dana White made it seem like this was going to happen no matter what. And then they changed the main event from Khabib Nurmagomedov to taking on Tony Ferguson to Justin Gaethje, who's my second favorite fighter, taking on Tony Ferguson, which in my opinion is a much better fight because Khabib is kind of boring if you ask me personally. I was very happy with that main event. Even with Rosa Namajunas pulling out of the card, I still like the Rosenstrike versus Ngannou fight. That was going to be a hell of a co-main event. Two guys that are going to throw down, and then Justin Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson. So I was really looking forward to that. And now we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we know that there's going to be a UFC 249. It's going to take place at some point, but we don't know what will be the actual card. It may, depending on when it happens, go back to being, Khabib versus Tony. I hope they keep it Gaethje versus Ferguson because that keeps that intact. And I hope Rosenstrike versus Ngannou is still on there as well because I think those are two awesome fights. The rest of the card, they had some good fighters on there, but I was really looking forward to those fights. The Andrade versus Namajunas fight, I wasn't looking forward to be honest with you, because I don't really care about either of them. Just my opinion. So, I mean, what's next? As I said, I really hope, they get everything ironed out and they go back within like a month or two. If Khabib's going to be in Ramadan at that time, then, you have the Ferguson versus Gaethje match. And in my opinion, what you do is let Conor fight Khabib, as soon as he can come back. Now, he says around September. I'd make him get his butt back in by August. Have that fight, and then have the winners face each other at the end of the year. That would be what I would do. Of course, you never know if injuries can take place, but I really want to see Ferguson versus Gaethje, especially if both fighters have a full fight camp. Maybe not the best camp because of, restrictions, but a full camp nonetheless. But I really think Gaethje was going to beat Ferguson. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to predict that, but I was really thinking he was going to catch Ferguson because Ferguson gets in trouble in a lot of his fights. He recovers really quick. And I think Gaethje would be the one that would make him go out. I think he would be out with Gaethje because that's what Gaethje does. And then I really would try to probably book, Conor McGregor and Khabib in August if you can. Just because that way they can fight, get their fight out of the way. But if that's not the case, if you want to do it this way, if Conor just wants to fight at 170, then you have him fight Nate Diaz again. That would be a good fight. And then he can face the winner of, Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. That would be what I'm going to do. As far as other divisions go, in the middleweight division, you're going to have Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa at some point, hopefully, this year. And then in the light heavyweight division, there's some uncertainty right now with John Jones because of his, out of the octagon antics. But I think John's going to be okay. He might need, 3-4 months off, which he easily can get. So around, July, August, have John Jones fight Jan Blachowicz. And then I would have Thiago Santos versus Dominic Reyes. And then the winner of that fight faces the winner of John Jones versus Blachowicz. That would be what I would do for that. And then the heavyweight division, I mean, we got this DC Stipe 3 fight that's supposed to happen, but Stipe's got eye problems. If Daniel Cormier only wants to fight DC, if Daniel Cormier only wants to fight Stipe, it's either Stipe or no fight at all, then have Francis Ngannou versus Rosenstrike be for the interim heavyweight championship. And have the winner of that fight take on Stipe, depending on when he's able to come back. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing DC fight one more time. I think DC is a good fighter. He's actually become one of my top 10 active fighters. And then, of course, we have the impending return of Anthony Rumble Johnson, whatever the hell that is. I don't think he's got back in the USADA testing, so he needs 6 months of being in that. So he needs to hurry up and do that soon so he can have a fight. Assuming there's going to be fights this year. Who knows with the uncertainty with this COVID-19 bullshit. I'm really getting mad about that coronavirus. It's really affecting my life right now, and I want it to stop. So I don't know, but I'm a big fan of Ferguson versus Gaethje. I really wanted to see that fight, and not just because I'm a Justin Gaethje mark. I just think it's a lot more entertaining of a fight than Khabib versus Tony. That's just the way I see it. So I don't know. Leave me a comment with your thoughts on what fights you want to see, what you think will actually happen. Like the video if you're a fan of it, share it, and of course hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, and you know that JW will be back again soon with another. Peace.